Hey, my name's James Nicholson and welcome to my YouTube channel. We've got some more house price data. House prices are down yet again. This data is from Halifax. And remember, for those, when you comment, we're bringing you data from all different sources here. We get the nationwide, we get the land registry, we get the Halifax data, and anyone else that's talking about it, because it's good to have an informed decision and know what's happening in the market, because different areas will have different drops and stuff like that, and different lenders will experience different things. And so the more we delve into this, we can really get a true indication on what's actually happening in the market. Now, before I jump into this data, we're on a mission this month. Our mission collectively together is to get 100,000 views on this channel. We hit over 80,000 last month. So help me with that, please, by taking that finger of power and smashing that like button over there, guys. Go on, smash that like button over there. And if you haven't done already, subscribe to the channel over here as well and hit that notification button so you get all the new content that we bring every single day. So, although I've got a tiny little post-it, there's a lot to cover on here. So let's get into what's going on in the market at the moment. Well, house prices are down. That was going to be obvious, right? So Nationwide last week reported that house prices were down. Halifax comes a little later. They're saying a very similar story here. Now, what they're saying is the southeast of England is being hit the hardest at the moment. And that makes sense, because those of us that buy in the southeast, we're stretched a little bit more, aren't we? Well, a lot more. And so some people pay 8 times their wages to get on the property ladder. Whereas if you're up north, there are some areas up north where you only need 1.5 times your wages to get on the property ladder. So the market doesn't need to fluctuate that much in those areas. So what are we saying is the market down at the moment? So the market is down, according to Halifax data, 0.3%. So not even half of 1% this month. Nationwide, their data for comparison was 0.2%. So pretty much they're on the same level there for the drop. This is in July's house price data. Now, what else are they saying? Well, they are saying on an annual basis, remember this is on a rolling annual basis, and just for total clarity, when I'm talking about house prices, I talk about them on a calendar year, what I expect to happen in the calendar year. Now, that I do that because otherwise there's just too much variance on it. So the Halifax data is on a rolling average, and they're saying on a yearly basis at the moment, they're saying that the market is down 2.4, and that's Halifax. And so Nationwide, what they were saying was the market was down 3.8%. So Nationwide's data was a smaller drop on a monthly basis. On an annual basis, they're seeing a bigger drop. Now, these lenders will lend in different areas. Some of them might have bigger properties. Some of them will have smaller properties. They've got different brands under them and so forth. So, look, all in all, we're seeing a market on an annual basis, on a rolling annual basis, that's down around 3% at the moment. Now, as we get into the latter months of this year, if you recall last year, we had those drops in October, November, December. Around the mini budget, we had the bigger drops. And that's where the majority of the drops have been in this rolling average. So they're going to leave this total at the moment. And so the rolling average, don't be surprised if we have a fairly flat market till the end of this year, like the 0.2, 0.3 that we're seeing here, is that it might look like the market is actually improving. It's not. It's just that we've lost some old data. So what else is going on? They're saying the market is fairly resilient. They still feel, Halifax, that there could be a soft landing. They've said that a few times. Now, I like to listen to lenders' data because lenders, they know what's going on in the market today. I've said that quite a few times. So a lender will know right now what's happening with deals that are on their desk today. They are agreeing offers in principle. They know the applications that are coming in. They know the agreed sale prices on these properties. All of this data they have, no one else really has. Now, obviously that excludes cash buyers, but it's really the only data that we can get an indication on what lenders feel is going to happen till the end of this year. So they're saying the market is really pretty much very resilient at the moment. Now, the reason they're saying that is they're backing that up by saying there's good wage growth at the moment. The government said the wage growth is around 7.7%. So the wage growth is similar to what inflation is at the moment. And that's meaning that affordability is still getting cut by these interest rate rises, but it is kind of balancing out and helping a little bit on that side. So that's what they're saying. What else are they saying? Well, lots of areas are being hit particularly hard. The southeast as a whole, they're saying, is down 3.9%. Some of the coastal regions are down quite a bit. I've got properties in Hastings, and I have seen some bigger drops in that area rather compared to my Dorking properties, for example. So the southeast, they're saying, is down 3.9%. London, that's an interesting one. Oh, whether you live in London or not, London does make a big chunk of our country. And so London is down 3.5%. And that is Greater London. So that covers all the way out to places like Croydon and places like that. Now, that's interesting because some areas of London are down 15%, Chelsea and Kensington being one. So that means that if you average that out, some of the London boroughs can't be doing too bad. If you've got big chunks in the middle that are down 15% and the average is 3.5%, that makes sense, doesn't it? And so what other areas are doing particularly bad? The only real one that they have covered here as well was Wales. And so Wales is down a fair bit, 3.3% down in Wales. Now, it was interesting to see that they feel that the north is pretty strong, and that makes sense because the north is different to 2008. So in 2008, it was more dependent on the jobs that were available, right, in the area that you lived. Now we've got the internet, and because of the pandemic, you have got people that work from home. And so you can have a London job, but live in Doncaster. And so I have a good mate of mine. He works for a bank in London, one of these corporate banks. And one of his colleagues did that recently. They lived in the south and lived in a fairly decent 500 grand house, which is a 2-bedroom house pretty much down here. And they've moved up north, spent 250 grand, and they've got a house that has horse stables and all sorts of stuff like that. And so they can earn their London wage in the north now. And so that's an interesting thing that we didn't ever really have before, that flexibility to move around and travel and work where you want. And so you might see some more of that. But the north, it doesn't need to drop. It doesn't need to drop, really. There were, like during the pandemic, there were houses for £50,000. You could be on the minimum wage and still afford that property, should you be able to get the deposit. But you can get 100% deals now or 5% deals. So it is affordable up north. And so even with high interest rates, it doesn't need to drop. In 2008, we had the drop because the lending stopped. That was the problem. So if lending should stop, then the whole country could crash. But what they're saying is the biggest risk in property at the moment is in the southeast. That kind of makes sense. That's where people are paying well above their annual income. So Halifax data is in. It's a drop. We were expecting that. We're going to see more of these this year. Of course we are, guys. No one disagrees with that. What do you think on this data? What do you think on this data? Do give me a like on the video. Do comment below with your thoughts and opinion on this latest Halifax data. Do you think this is going to make a big difference? Do you think their predictions are right that we could still have a soft landing? They're saying that month in, month out, even when the prices have been going down, but they're not going down as fast as some people might expect. So that's another set of data that we've got in here. And I did a revision on my my prediction for house prices this year. I did that yesterday. So go and check out that video on the channel, and do check out all the other content on my channel, and go and check out this video right here.